Wow, what great hunting!
Raising his sword, Lion-O leaped forward with an eager roar. Next thing he knew, there was a flash, and the sword flew from his hand. It landed point first and stuck deep in the tree.
What's going on here?
The young lord fumed angrily. He yanked hard on the sword, but it wouldn't budge. The more he tried, the angrier he got.
That's enough of that! I command you to...
A ghostly voice interrupted.
The sword will not obey you, Lion-O.
Huh? The Lord of the Thundercats whirled and saw the misty image of the old chief.
Jaga?
The sword will never obey in order to destroy wantonly, Lion-O.
Oh, I was just going to have some fun.
Fun? Your food supplies are plentiful at present. And those gentle creatures have as much right to the life force as you do, Lion-O. The sword will only come to life to combat evil. Do you understand?
Well, yes, Jaga,
The young lord hung his head. When he looked up, the image had faded. Lion-O turned back to the sword. As his hand touched the hilt, the eye of Thundera opened wide, and the Thundercat roar resounded through the jungle. The sword came out of the tree easily. The eye was glowing brightly now. The crossbar curled to form eye holes, and the sword itself was growing.
What is it? Danger?
Lion-O peered through the eye holes.
I don't see any...
He broke off as three figures suddenly materialized out of nowhere.
It's the mutants again!
They grabbed his arms before he could strike out at them.
The sword!
Hissed Slythe.
Seize the sword!
Lion-O fought furiously as all three of his enemies leaped on him and grappled with him. Even so, he managed to raise his sword arm and shout,
Thunder! 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 Thundercats!
Slythe clamped a hand over the young lord's mouth. Enraged, Lion-O fought more fiercely than ever and finally shook off his attackers.
Thundercats!
He roared. The sword swelled to its full size, and a fiery beam shot skyward from the eye of Thundera. Back at camp, Panthro heard Lion-O's roar and paused from unloading their wrecked ship. He saw the sign of the Thundercats blazoned across the sky.
Wildcat, Kit, Lion-O's in trouble. Come on!
With glowing yellow cat's eyes and blazing red insignia, the three rushed into the jungle. They reached the scene just in the nick of time.
Lion-O! Hold on! We're here!
I'm doing fine, Panthro.
With his mighty sword, Lion-O beat off his attackers' blows. With three more Thundercats joining the fight, the mutants knew it was time to flee.
Back! Get back!
Slythe hissed to his partners. Panthro, who was about to hurl the reptilian against the nearest rock, found himself clutching empty air. The mutants had suddenly disappeared.
No spaceships above!
Gaped Wily Cat.
So where did they dematerialize to?
Wily Kit puzzled.
Don't like the looks of that.
Frowned Panthro.
Seems like those blasted mutants have learned some new tricks.
Where are Tiger and Chitara?
Said Lion-O.
Gone looking for a good place to build our new home.
Why didn't they see the Thundercat signal?
Good question. I'll go look for them.
No, I'll go, Panthro. I'm not a kid anymore.
Lion-O spoke quietly but firmly. Panthro understood. The young lord was boss now.
Right.
Back in Mumra's tomb, the hooded Ancient One sneered at the three figures who once more stood before him.
So, the dreaded mutants, the scourge of the universe, return with their tails between their legs.
If you think it's so easy fighting the Thundercats, try it yourself next time.
Chittered the Monkeyan.
Yes,
Hissed Blythe.
we haven't seen much of your self-proclaimed power yet, mighty Mumra.
You dare to taunt Mumra? Reptilian! You shall see my power then, much to your sorrow.
The hooded figure flung out his arms and began a dreadful chant that chilled his three listeners with fear.
Ancient spirits of evil, transform this decayed form to Mumra, the ever-living!
His cloak fell away. He began to swell in size. His muscles bulged, bursting through his mummy wrappings, and his red eyes blazed like deadly fire. At the same time, the double snake insignia on his weird costume began to pulse with a fiery light. The animal-headed statues glowed red around his coffin. Mumra himself seemed to take on some of their likeness, even to vulture wings attached to his powerful arms. The mutants fell back in awe as he soared aloft and burst out of the Black Pyramid. Lion-O was walking through the forest, searching for the other two Thundercats.
Tigra! Chitara!
He called. A vast, bubbling dark pool lay ahead.
What's that? Some kind of black lake?
He wondered and tested it with his finger.
Oh, it's hot.
He tried to rub away the tar with his other hand, encased in the glove of the shiny claw shield.
And sticky. It won't come off.
Lion-O muttered. He had stuck his sword in the ground while he tested the black lake. Suddenly, the eye of Thundera snapped open. The Thundercat roar sounded, and the sword began to grow. Lion-O sensed
Danger!
and whirled to pull out the sword. He gasped as he found himself facing Mumra.
What is that thing? I better...
Raising the sword, he started to shout.
Thunder! Thunder!
Then, abruptly, Lion-O lowered his weapon.
No. As Lord of the Thundercats, I must fight this demon alone.
He charged at the fearsome specter, but Mumra whacked the sword with his vulture wing and sent it flying. It landed in the sticky pool and sank down until the eye was covered with black tar. Lion-O hastened to pull out the sword, but as he turned back to his foe, Mumra sprang upon the young lord, clasping him with the two vulture wings.
You think to destroy Mumra, the ever-living? It cannot be done, boy!
Lion-O squirmed out of his foe's embrace, muttering,
The ever-living? This creature isn't mortal. If I can still just...
He grabbed up the weapon which had fallen from his hand, then rolled over on his back and lifted the sword with the eye and aimed skyward.
Thunder! 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 Thundercats! Ho!
To his dismay, nothing happened. No fiery beam shot upward.
Thundercats! Ho!
He faltered. Then he realized that the eye was blinded with tar. Mumra cackled with laughter.
It's no use, boy. The Eye of Thundera cannot summon your friends this time. I only wish it could.
Again, he leaped at Lion-O. Soon they were locked in fierce combat. The young lord fought valiantly, but he could no longer use his sword, though he still clasped it tightly. Unable to fight freely with both hands, he found himself being forced to the ground by the demon. With an evil laugh, Mum-Ra pointed his fingers to zap the young Thundercat with his magical force rays.
In a moment, the Eye of Thundera will be mine to command, boy!
As Lion-O raised a gloved hand to protect himself, the demon suddenly caught sight of his own reflection in the shiny claw shield. He shrank back with a groaning shriek of terror. Tigra and Chitara were coming out of a cave where they had been searching for some kind of stone to use in building the cat's lair. Chitara stopped short.
Tigra, listen. I thought I heard the Thundercat roar. Something's going on, and we'd better see what it is. Come on!
But the fight was over by the time the two came running up, followed by the other Thundercats.
We heard battle cries,
Exclaimed Tigra.
Are you all right, Lion-O?
Asked Panthro.
What was all that racket?
Snarf, snarf! I told you not to go off by yourself!
Wily Cat pointed to a ghastly figure zooming off through the sky.
Wily Kid, look!
Yuck! What is that thing, Lion-O?
He is called Mum-Ra, the ever-living. That's all I know.
Lion-O told his comrades about his blood-chilling fight with the ancient demon and added,
It was its own reflection that drove it off, yet it feared nothing.
The ghastly creature returned to its black tomb. The mutants watched mockingly as it shrank back into the form of a cloaked and bandaged mummy.
Did you get it, Mum-Ra?
Chattered the Monkeyan. And Jackalman barked.
Did you, Mum-Ra? Do you have the Eye of Thundera? He doesn't answer.
Sneered Slive.
He didn't get it. So, the great Mum-Ra also failed, yes?
But as he stepped back into his casket, Mum-Ra intoned vengefully,
There will be another time.
and the coffin lid closed with a bang.